So the Citroen Ami has a really tight turning circle of 7.5 meters. So let's see if it can do it in the space it says it can. So there we go, lives up to the billing, 7.5 meters. Welcome to Taking the Car, I'm Oliver. What if I told you can buy a car for £19.99 a month? Well, this is a car that you can buy for that. With about a £2,300 deposit, you can have a Citroen Ami for less than £20 a month. And this is an all electric vehicle. It does up to 46 miles of a range and it charges in about 3 hours. It's got a 6 kilowatt motor and a 5.5 kilowatt hour battery, which charges obviously very quickly because it's a small battery. And this car is a very, very interesting idea from Citroen. You can see it's all plastic and the mirrors you adjust yourself and the windows you open, a bit like a racing car actually. You push down and you push them up like this. And if the mirror is in the way, you can't close the window. It's a really, really interesting design. You press a little button here. There's no electric windows. There's no electric mirror adjustment. This has got the bare basics, but what it gives you is an all electric car, which has 0% emissions, which is perfect for getting around the town or the city and not having to worry about using petrol and not having to worry about the environment. Lots of cities which have some kind of congestion charging like London, you'll be exempt with one of these. However, it does have a top speed of 28 miles an hour, which means you're not going to be going on a fast dual carriageway, although of course you can do. But this car is really designed for being used in the city and it's got some really, really interesting design features. So this is the grey colour, as you can see, and this has got trim which has got orange. It's got orange decals on the side here, orange wheels down here, or orange on the wheels. There's a little orange and white decal down the bottom there as well, and it's just a really, really compact car. I've had people say it looks like a golf car and also people say it looks like a go-kart, and when you're driving it, it's really, really chuckable around the corners. Obviously you can't go very fast in it, but it's really, really flat and very, very good handling. It's just not very fast, that's all, which probably I'm sure is a safety feature because it hasn't got all the latest technology in terms of driver assistance. So we'll have a look inside what there is in a minute. At the front, the Citroen Ami has a very cute design. We've got these little indicator lights here. We've got our headlights down here. We've got the Citroen logo, which has the orange trim on it. Also has some extra decals and the little spoiler and black surrounds on the back of the car, which makes it a bit more sporty looking. It's just, you know, really, really interesting. By the way, Miami Blue sounds like Miami Blue from Porsche. So you can get it in Miami Blue, Miami Orange and Miami Grey, as well as a cargo version which removes the passenger seat and lets you put your storage in. So from the front, very, very nicely designed, very, very simple. It's just a really cute looking car. Now, I have reviewed a similar car, though not exactly the same, on this channel, the Honda E. Now the Honda E is obviously a full-size car with all the latest technology, a ton of screens and a higher range. But in terms of interesting design and cuteness, the Honda E has a lot in common with the Citroen Ami. The rear of the Citroen Ami looks very, very similar to the front, actually. And we've got the Citroen logo, we've got our rear lights here, and it says Citroen Ami 100% electric here. And you can see our little spoiler, which you get. This is a very simple design. It's been designed to be very, very easy to produce, to keep the costs low, but it does what it says. And it is 100% electric and 100% fun. And you get so many looks driving this car, it's unbelievable. To be expected. People are always looking and wondering what this is, and it brings a smile to everyone's face. And I got my doggy in here earlier and she was quite happy sitting in the front seat there. So that was quite good, right below the front seat, I should say. So how much does the Citroen Ami cost? It starts at £7,695 for the standard Ami. It goes up to about £8,600 if you choose through the different colors. So we've got Miami Grey, Miami Blue, which is like the Porsche color, Miami Blue, but it's not the same. We've also got Miami Orange, and we got the Miami Pop with the black and the orange. And then we got the Miami Cargo, which again is below the £8,000 mark, which removes the passenger seat. Here inside the Citroen Ami, it is first of all very echoey because of all the glass in here, which is kind of interesting. But there's tons of light coming through here. You've got the sunroof here, you've got all the windows. So this is definitely, despite being a small vehicle, it doesn't feel cramped. And in fact, there is more space between my front of my arm and the steering wheel than the front of this car than there is in my own car. Obviously, I've got a big engine under that, but there is a lot of space here, and we got lots of dashboard space where you can store stuff, and there is storage spaces. There's a cup holder. I mean, look, okay, this is a very cool car, but couldn't you have attached that to the car? And we've got more trays there. And just in here, it just, you know, it's just very cheerful. I mentioned the windows, but you press the windows here, you pull them up like that, and they stay up like that. We've got little pull tabs to open the doors. This is actually to pull it open and close it. The actual opening button is on the side here. The opening tab here is on the side. Just like the Porsche 911 GT3 Touring that I did a video on, also has tabs in the side. So it's got something in common with Porsche, just like the color Miami blue is like the Porsche color of Miami blue. We've got obviously orange in here because this is a Miami Pop. We've got these nets here, which are really good for holding stuff, and they're actually very spacious, and you can't see it, but on this side I've got all of my camera equipment in the net here on the side. We've got a nice enough steering wheel. Obviously it's very cheap and cheerful feeling, but it's there. And we've got a small display which shows just the speed and the gear and the range as well. In the center here we have the climate controls, which if you turn them on and off, your hazard light, and we have a mount for your phone. Now there's no infotainment system in this car. The idea is you use your phone, you put it here on the holder, and then you're able to play whatever music you want on your phone. And Citroen have an app which connects to your phone, and we've got a USB to charge it as well. We do have two pedals down here, our brake and our go pedal, and then we've got a manual handbrake, which if I'm honest with you is a bit weird because the area surrounding the handbrake comes up away from the main structure when you pull it up. Again, could have put a bit of material over that, it would have looked a bit better, I think. But inside here you can see the frame, you can see the metal. You know, it's a fun interior. We can adjust the seat forwards and backwards as well, so don't forget, you still get that as well. We've got our gear selection down the side here, and in fact to start the car you turn the key like this and it will light up on here, and then you press the drive button, and obviously you take your hand off the handbrake. There we go, release the handbrake, and there we go. And then to stop you put it into neutral, and then pull the handbrake up and then turn it off. So simple. There's also a passenger seat here. That is actually a fixed passenger seat, so you can't move it forwards and backwards, and it's slightly set back from the driver's seat as well, which is an interesting design. In the cargo version of the Ami, there's no passenger seat here. It's just designed for cargo. So if you were carrying a lot of stuff forwards and backwards, maybe you're a delivery for a restaurant, or maybe you have a retail shop and you want some space, then you could fit cargo into this space here. Otherwise, there's a space down here in front of me where you can put your suitcase, a little logo there, or you can put a bag, and obviously you can put it in front here. And like I said, my dog was sitting right here in front, and she was more than comfortable. She looked a bit confused, but she was more than comfortable in here. So, you know, what you get is very basic, but it does the job. Now, what is it like going through a drive-through in one of these? How can we use these windows to get myself a drink from, say, a drive-through? And the other thing too is, as you might have noticed, the steering wheel is on the opposite side to the UK. And so that's going to make it a bit difficult when I'm ordering some takeaway, I think. So we'll have a look and see how that goes. Welcome inside the Citroen Ami. So I haven't driven this car before. I'm Oliver, this is Tech in the Car. Let's start this car up. So let's turn the key and then turn it again. It's telling me we've got 44 miles of range. Hit the drive button down the side of the key, take my foot off the handbrake, and then let's go. Let's see what this is like to drive. So in this world we live in right now, where electric is very much the way to go, where fuel efficiency and petrol prices are super expensive, a car like this, the Citroen Ami, is maybe the solution to that. So we've got a range of up to 46 miles in this electric car and a top speed of 28 miles an hour, which I've just hit literally within 2 seconds of pressing the pedal. And we're at the top speed and we're driving along. So right now it's telling me I've got 44 miles of range. What is this like to drive? Well, first of all, it is, despite the small size, surprisingly roomy in here, actually. I mean, that dashboard is further away than the one in my car, so I mean, that says it all. In terms of what we're getting here, this car is £20 a month, £19.99 a month, if you buy one of these with around a £2,300 deposit on PCP. So we're coming up to a roundabout now. Let's see how this handles around a roundabout. So put my foot on the brake, coming to the roundabout. Let's do let's turn to the side here. And actually, you know what? This is surprisingly flat in the corners. There's like no lean at all. You know, part of that is down to the fact this is a small car. Going around the corner here, look at that. I mean, that was, you know, it felt a bit like a go-kart. If it had a bit more speed, it would be a go-kart. I think that's fair to say. At 28 miles an hour, we're not gonna be winning any awards for being the next racing driver, being the next Lewis Hamilton or Michael Schumacher. Huge fan of Michael Schumacher here. Why don't we take it through McDonald's drive-through? Now this might be a bit tricky seeing the steering wheel is on the wrong side of the car for this country. Obviously this car has been designed for Europe, and in Europe it would be the right side. So I'm going to have to lean across here to get my order. Plus also we have the situation with these windows only opening like this. But anyway, we're going to give it a go and we'll see what happens when we get through this drive-through and when we get around to order. Hi there, can I order a double cheeseburger and a bottle of still water, please?
Just the water, yeah?
Yeah, please.
Anything else for you?
No, that's all, thank you.
Perfect, so nice down, see you now.
Thank you. Okay, so food ordered. Now let's see if we can get it through the car window. All right, so we're approaching the collection window in our Citroen Ami. Lots of interested looks from people who are all nearby. Let's close that window. Lots of interested looks from people who are nearby. After we've got this, we're going to go down the dual carriageway and see what this car is like on a dual carriageway. And then I'll give you my final thoughts on this car, what I think about it and who I think this car is good for. But I want to give a big thanks again to Wilmoths Citroen in Eastbourne for loaning me this car and all the other Citroens they've loaned me. So now for the paying part, let's try and pay for this. There's nothing on there yet.
One bottle of water and double cheeseburger.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's correct. Thank you. All right, so that was a bit hard for her to hear me without shouting. Let's see if we can get the food and the drink now. This will be interesting. Hello. Thank you very much. Okay, so we got the cheeseburger, we got the drink. I think if you had a big McDonald's drink there, you might struggle a bit with that, but for what we have, that worked quite well. It was only a tiny bit awkward because of the noise and the sound, but it was totally achievable and doable. Right, let's now head down the dual carriageway and see how this car is where speed limit is over 30 miles an hour, but I can't go over 30 miles an hour. So here we go. Past the petrol station. We don't need petrol stations because this is an electric car. Just what we want. And onto the dual carriageway. So pedal to the metal. And here we go. We're at our top speed. And we're just gonna drive down here and yeah, simple. So what do I think about this car? So I think this is a very, very interesting car. I think this is a very, very clever car. I think that it's a car that has a lot of potential, and I think it's a car which everyone can appreciate Citroen's efforts in making, and you can understand why they made it. I also think it's very good value at just under £9,000, just under £8,000, depending on the trim, between 7,600 and 8,600. But I also think that this is a hard sell, because as cool as it is, I think the only people that are going to really have use for this are people that live in a city like London, who are literally going to go into the middle, park, and come back. And I think that's it. I think there might be a market for this as a car for delivery, like I said, for restaurants for delivery, for, you know, even for Amazon if they have a small amount to deliver. But for everyone else, I think this is a hard sell. I think if it had an infotainment system, that would make it better. I think if it had a boot, that would make it better. I think having a boot would make a big difference, actually. Having some way to store stuff in the back would make a huge difference to this car's practicality. It really would. It doesn't have to be a big boot, but just having a boot so that somewhere else we can store stuff which is locked and secured and people can't see, that would make a big difference. So, should you check one of these out? Absolutely. Should you go for a drive? Absolutely. Do I think you should buy one of these? Probably not, because unless you live in a very, very small percentage of people that are going to find it really useful, I think this is too much of a compromise in every single way to be a car for everybody to drive. But in terms of its fun, looks, its interesting handling, very, very flat in the corners, feels like a sports car, its electric range, and, well, it's how sensible it is in a time where we're all going electric and traditional combustion engines are going. I think this is a fantastic car. Please give this video a like, please subscribe for more on the channel, and don't forget to check out my other videos on all the Citroens on this channel, C5X, the C3, the C5 Aircross, pretty much every Citroen there is, you got on this channel, so check them out. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.